A warm welcome again here at the West Inn Hotel for this 15th Commonwealth Regional Conference on the heads of the anti-corruption units. Of course, they are discussing issues around fighting corruption, holding those accountable, as well as recovering any monies that have been lost by the state. And of course, today's theme is going to be about the progress on the establishment of the International Anti-Corruption Court. Of course, I'm going to bring into this conversation now Dr. Roger Koranteng, who is the head of public sector governance at the Commonwealth Secretariat in the UK. Dr. Koranteng, firstly, thank you so much for your time. Let's start on this theme of today around the establishment of this International Anti-Corruption Court, the genesis of that idea.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm coming from the Commonwealth in UK. We thought the anti-corruption is an issue that affects particularly the poorest of the poor. So it's something that is affecting all of us, and we have to find ways and means of dealing with it. Yeah, the International Anti-Corruption Court, I must say it was the idea of Justice Goldman. I'm sure you're going to interview him. My role is to bring everybody together, because when I got into the Commonwealth Secretariat, there was nothing like anti-corruption work being done. So I have this idea, converted into a vision, and I've worked on it for the past 15 years. So I bring all these people together in various countries. We have been into Mauritius, the Seychelles, we're in Ghana last year, and this year we are in Cape Town. The International Court is a very important court because we don't have a way of dealing with politically exposed people in corruption. The corruption are being done by the most powerful people in the society, and our domestic court across member countries are not able to deal with them. So that's why we need to have something like International Court for corruption proper, because I realize that everybody in the world talk about corruption because it affects all of us.
The challenge again with these international bodies, as much as they are a noble idea, but would they be able to have teeth, given that, as you've said, that we're talking about now people who are in powerful positions, and again, in some other parallel structures like in human rights, you have some heads of states who've got international warrants of arrest against them, but I mean, they can travel freely. Yeah. How are you going to ensure that this International Anti-Corruption Court has teeth at least?
You see, that's a challenge. That's why you need to have a consensus around the world. Because unless all of us agree, it's not going to work. We need to bring everybody, the developing, and every country in between to be part of this. Because corruption is a crime against humanity. Because you are taking collective resources into somebody's pocket or private pocket and denying people their livelihood, their education, health. And so it's so important that we have to deal with it across. But the challenge, as we all know, and that's what we're going to discuss here, how do we get everybody to be on board? Because it's not going to be easy, I must say, particularly with the global changes in US and everybody else. It's becoming very, very, very difficult. But it's also called to attention that this is the more reason why we should come together to fight this menace. Because if we don't, then that means that we're going to lose out on a large segment of the population, because they're not going to be able to do anything because they've been deprived. So that is why this particular topic is so important for us this time around. We are going to start the conversation, and then we spread it around and see whether we can build consensus around this topic.
Another theme that's coming out of this conference is the issue of illicit financial flows, costing the African continent, I'm told, in excess of $50 billion a year. Yeah. Of course, the call now is to use artificial intelligence to actually be able to track maybe some of these pandemics or rather phenomenons. How, as the Commonwealth Secretariat, will you be able to assist African countries to actually have this capacity of having access to artificial intelligence?
Yeah. we are at the forefront of it, because the Commonwealth, what we do is that we take the best practices and we share it among our member countries. So artificial intelligence, we have been at the forefront. We have developed tools that we can use member countries to develop their capacity. We have Academy Online to train public sector governance officials on artificial intelligence. I must say, artificial intelligence is a double-edged sword. The criminals can use it, they can clone you and I, as we are doing, and they put words in our mouth, and we hear our own voice speaking things that we have not taught to speak. So it's a very interesting phenomenon, but we need to get a grip of it, because normally the criminals will be ahead of us. So that's why we need to prepare our member countries so that the government officials can understand the do's and don'ts and the menace they can create, and also the opportunities and advantage. There's also going to transform the whole world, because what human being can do, AI can do easily. Your secretary can, you can get rid of your secretary because it can type letters for you. You can get rid of the journalist because it can get AI to come and interview me. But again, even though you have a huge advantages, there's also huge ethical issues that we need to be aware of. So yeah, the Commonwealth Secretariat is at the forefront of it. We are training, building capacity across the country. We are developing tools that member countries can use to jumpstart, because the capabilities within our member countries are not the same. South Africa may have very high capability, but countries like other countries, I don't want to mention their names, may have very low, and we have to help them to bring them up. So yes, we are really on top of that game.
Fighting corruption on the African continent, there's always this observation that there might not be enough capacity or skills. How is the Commonwealth actually ensuring that they assist the African countries to actually have the necessary capacity and skills, especially in this context that you mentioned, that criminals seem to be ahead of the game?
No, actually, it's one of the things I've done over the years. In fact, even in South Africa here, I've come to build capacity, and I'm coming here next month. I've built capacity for all the Chapter 9 institutions, their heads, last month or two. I'm coming to build a capacity for the military ombuds next month. I've devoted my time to build capacity across the whole of the Commonwealth. I've done capacity building in 50 countries all over the world. And I must say, not to boast, I've gotten 4 international awards of the work of anti-corruption, capacity building institutions, forming this association 15 years ago, done the same thing in the Caribbean, Pacific, and Asia. I've dedicated myself doing Commonwealth Secretarial work to build capacity. We bring experts to build capacity in various countries, because we know that the institutions must be strengthened. Now, when you strengthen the institution, then they can perform their mandate and deliver on what they were supposed to do. But what we see across the Commonwealth is that they weaken the institutions so that the institutions cannot deliver. And then those criminals will get off the hook. And that's where Commonwealth comes in. And that's what I lead on that chart, to build capacity, to organize, bring all these anti-corruption agencies together so that we strengthen the institutions. Because if you really want to fight corruption, strengthen the institutions. They will go after the criminals, and then we will all be happy.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Roger Korandeng. He is the head of public sector governance, at the Secretariat of the Commonwealth in the United Kingdom. On that note, we cross back to you in studio.